I am recording this on the Sunday of SDCC weekend so that I too have had time to digest everything that was revealed for the various Transformers lines along the way. And that's going to be exactly what we talk about with the use of my notes in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, hit the notification bell because it lets you know when I have new content of any sort going up. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, and the Autobot family. And this is the end of SDCC weekend as of this recording. I guess we're back into the work week by the time you guys see this. And I've kind of done a couple of discussions lately. I gave a kind of complete discussion for HasLab Unicron, all to himself, man, all to himself, because he deserves that respect and attention, where I scoured and amassed all of the arguments for him and all of the arguments against him and put it all together for you guys to ingest and think about and ponder so that you can make a choice that works for you and your collecting. Then we looked at the world of third-party offerings via everything that was shown at TFCon Toronto 2019. And finally, we get to take a look at everything else that was shown from SDCC. Now here's the thing. I say everything else that was shown because the unveiling of Unicron, objectively speaking, just as a figure unveiling, it's 10. It's amazing that they unveiled it. When we look at TFCon, I said then that it might be very telling about where third party is headed, but time will tell. And there's a couple of options there. But in terms of what was shown at TFCon Toronto, it was fine. But that's all it was to me, and I gave it about a 5. What about SDCC? What about everything else? Let's pretend for a moment, if you will, that Unicron wasn't unveiled, or you're not into them, or whatever. You were looking for the other lines, reveals, whatever. So how content would you be with what was already shown? Well, let's begin, if we will, with the preview night, because we saw things started out right there. And on the preview night, a couple of things that I talked about a little over a week ago on one of the live streams kind of proved to be true. I said then that we were getting a Shockwave repaint. Indeed, we did get a Shockwave repaint. It was shown off to be Galactic Man, but it's the gray one. It's the Shockwave version, even though they're not calling it Shockwave. But it's the Galactic Man Shockwave. Then we also learned that the Rainmakers are indeed also confirmed and coming as a 3-pack of Seekers. Yellow, green, and blue, Acid Storm, Nova Storm, and Ion Storm. And a lot of people said, oh, they look kind of bland. But if you look at that one piece of animation that exists for them, they are bland. It is what it is. It's extremely accurate. I just wish that they didn't have the muck and dirt on them that they have on them. I don't know. Guess I'll get it off. Hopefully. Hopefully, like, the yellow guy is done in all like, yellow plastic, and I can just take the muck off. Same with the blue and same with the green. I don't know. I guess time will tell what's plastic and what's paint, but I'm glad that they're coming out. Now, that being said, we're going to talk about as well how all of this stuff is offered, because I believe that the Rainmakers and Galactic Man are both exclusives. I think Galactic Man is online exclusive. I think in the States, the Rainmakers are a Target exclusive, and I think in Canada, I think the rumor, guys, is that it's probably going to be offered at Toys R Us. Time will tell for sure. But as of the preview night, we had first and foremost the Siege lineup, and we saw Astro Train, and Astro Train is going to be a leader class figure, and I think it's safe to say that he's going to be very similar, or handled very similar to Soundwave, where the main figure is basically a Voyager figure, but his coal car, caboose, I don't know, the trailer piece, it becomes something else. And either you're cool with that or you're not. I think that everybody's going to say, yeah, he's fantastic. He's a perfect Astrotrain, blah, blah, blah. But he should have been a Voyager. I feel like that's what's going to happen. I guess time will tell. But he does look great. And he's very bulky. I dig Astrotrain. Absolutely dig Astrotrain. We also saw what I'm going to call a Micromaster Combiner. It's funny. Micromaster Combiners come in two flavors. Either as gestalts made of 6 figures. Or if we're harkening back to G1, it was really like 2 Micromasters that went together to make a little vehicle. And the one that was shown off, we're actually going to be taking a look at the G1 set, which was a set of 6 overall. We're going to take a look at the G1 set coming up soon here on the channel. So I'll kind of talk about the update a little bit later, but it looks very promising. I dig it. If they're going to do more of those combiners like that, I'm in for it. Why not? I think that's a cool idea. We also saw a black and silver repaint of the Fireball Target Master. I'm not sure who it's supposed to be. Nightstick maybe? I don't know. Even though I did a custom version of that here recently. Maybe it is. I don't know. I didn't see a name for it, and I haven't seen anybody talk about it. He was sort of in the background, but he was there, no doubt about it. We also had Spinister on display. Absolutely want him. I hope we get a Singe and Hair Splitter. We saw Ape Face and Spasma on display. Fantastic. We should have had that a long time ago. But again, these things aren't new. They were revealed a week or so before SDCC. So while it's still big news and new news, it wasn't a brand new reveal. It was something we'd already seen recently, and that's fine. It's nice to know that they physically exist, but I was hoping that that was only going to be like part of the reveal, and we'll talk about that coming up in a bit, because of course this is coming from the preview night. Seeing those on the preview night, yeah, it made sense. I thought it was great. We also saw during the preview night Rumble or Frenzy, whichever one you think the red and black guy is, and Ratbat. I have a plan for that. Ratbat, definitely getting him. I think that the Rumble Frenzy mold looks very Rumble Frenzy-ish. It makes sense. I assume it probably has no elbows, maybe no knees, but like, that's typical for the size class. I think it looks really good. It will go very nicely with Siege Soundwave. No doubt about it. So that was a new reveal. And the Rumble Frenzy mold makes for a really clean cassette. The Ratbat, a little more iffy, but the Rumble Frenzy mold looks like a really clean cassette. Then we have Rung. I think that a lot of people had an idea we were going to get a Rung when his name was on the box for Red Alert from Wave 3. I expected that it was going to be another use of that mold as a deluxe figure, but it's not. It's actually going to be a little like Battle Master thing, blaster. I guess he's probably supposed to go with Red Alert. A lot of people dismayed about that. I don't really know Rung. I don't really know him from the comics, her from the comics. I don't know anything about Rung. So, like, I'm cool with it. It looks cool, but I understand that if you are a fan of the character, listen, I know what it's like to not get the size class that you want for a certain character. I know what it's like for it to not feel right because it's not the right size class. I totally get behind that. But maybe Rung's not a significant enough character to warrant a deluxe class figure. Maybe they're like, I don't know if people are going to know this character to spend that kind of money on him. But you know what? Anybody's likely to spend a few bucks on a little Battle Master, because why not, right? Like, maybe that's the thinking behind it. I don't know. I really can't speak to it. We saw Crosshairs. Think it's great. Love that mold. Think it's a great reuse. Give me the other Autobot Target Masters. We saw Red Wing. I like the Seeker mold. I feel like it's getting a lot of uses already. I hope that we don't get mold degradation, because I'm already getting kind of afraid about it, because right now we have the 3 main Seekers. We know we have it used 3 more times to make the Rainmakers, and now Red Wing. That's 7 uses of that mold already. It's a great mold, but it's getting that classic mold sort of feel to it, where every Seeker that there ever was that could have this is going to get it. I bet you we're going to get an Orange Sunstorm at some point. Just saying. We also saw Lancer on display. She's an online exclusive. I have to get her. It's simple as that. I want to finish my Orthea combiner. I want Lancer. Yeah, the purples are darker. Both shades of purples are darker than they should be. I absolutely agree with that. We also saw Jetfire and Omega Supreme both on display for the preview night. Fantastic. We saw Thundercracker and Galaxy Optimus Prime on display. That makes perfect sense. Impactor and Mirage from Wave 4 were on display. That also makes perfect sense. And Barricade. I was happy to see more Barricade. Though he's already been shown, I was happy to kind of get a good look at more than just the one or two kind of promotional, photos that we've had released. And Springer, I just picked Springer up by surprise this past week. We have not reviewed him as of this recording, but we're going to probably do him next in comparison to his earlier generation's release. Then we can move on to Studio Series, and we saw nothing new. Absolutely nothing new that we haven't already seen or is not already released out to the public, that there's not already reviews up on. Absolutely nothing. But coming from Takara, and we do have Wonder Festival, I think that's what it's called, coming up. So coming from Takara, we did get 3 kind of leaks, I suppose. One is another Bumblebee car, I think. Yeah, it's another Bumblebee car. How many Bumblebees can they put out? Who cares? I'm so out on that. Then there's the RC triplets with RC Alita 1 and Chromia, I think it is, but all 3 of them at a deluxe price point. I assume they're going to be smaller, I guess. I suppose it makes sense since they are motorbikes. They want the motorbikes to scale with the cars, because that's the big thing about Studio Series is proper scale. So I suspect that these 3 motorcycle sisters will be Legion-ish size, roughly, maybe better articulated. Legends-ish size, roughly. I feel like they'll probably be about the size of Power of the Prime's Cindersaur, something like that. I guess it makes sense for the 3 of them. And we found out that we're going to be getting a Dark of the Moon Soundwave and Laserbeak. I guess Laserbeak, again, will be small. The Dark of the Moon Soundwave, whatever, that's fine. Oh, and we also found out that we're getting Mixmaster. We knew that was coming. I kind of can't wait to see him. But in terms of what was actually on display, like I said, there was nothing new. We had the Dropkick car. We've seen the Dropkick car for a while now. As far as I'm concerned, why is it not out yet? Everybody's like, "Oh, that looks a lot more like Dropkick. It'll probably be great." It will, unless it shares engineering with Bumblebee, because I think that figure's trash. I haven't liked any of the Studio Series Bumblebee figures. KSI Boss is Nitro Zeus. Fantastic mold before, fantastic mold as movie Thundercracker. Gonna be fantastic mold again and painted right to the nines. The Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime in his trailer, that leader class Optimus Prime. Everybody kind of ran out to get that Studio Series 32 to combine with Jetfire. No, don't. I wouldn't have done that, because the new leader class one will also combine with Jetfire. So you could have Jetfire. He can combine with this Optimus, and then you can still have the trailer, I believe, turn into like his battle ring thing. Like, come on. That's like the ideal movie Optimus Prime, I have to believe. That's more ultimate than the ultimate Optimus Prime was. Long Haul was on display. Hightower, Masterpiece movie Megatron, who looks really cool, and technically Jazz in his 2 halves. But again, nothing actually on display that we haven't already seen before. Nothing new. The World of 3A was on display, again with their Blitzwing, but then we saw another smaller Blitzwing with, it was a Bumblebee? I don't know, it was another smaller Blitzwing. Okay, there was a bigger Blitzwing and a bigger Bumblebee, and then there was a smaller Blitzwing that I saw, and then there was a smaller Bumblebee and a smaller Optimus Prime. I don't know what the difference is. I'm not well into these statues. They all look fantastic. I assume the bigger ones have more painted detail and more articulation. They're cool. They're fine, I guess. I don't know. They're beautiful. They're non-transforming. I don't know, either you're into them or you're not. Then we come to Flame Toys. Flame Toys had a whole bunch of Farai kits on. The Bumblebee one, I think the Thundercracker one was on display, an Optimus Prime one, the Nemesis Prime one, Shattered Glass Optimus Prime one, a G1 Optimus Prime one, an IDW Drift, The G1 Bumblebee I already mentioned, an IDW Optimus Prime one, an IDW Nemesis Prime one, which I think was an SDCC exclusive. A Devastator, but that looked, the green looked too deep on that, the purple looked too deep on that. It looked very much like an Action Master Devastator. I wasn't behind that one. I don't think them doing combiners is necessarily a good idea. Their G1 Optimus Prime, meh. It looked like a cheap toy, even though I know it's not a cheap toy and not poorly made, but I don't think it looked that great. That being said, I know that there are a couple of pre-orders and whatnot up for at least the Optimus Prime kits. So, I don't know, to each their own. I think there was a drift and a shattered glass drift there. Then we get to their Karakuri. I'm sure I'm saying that right. Statues, figures, kits, model kits that are more detailed. I think they're bigger, higher end. There was an Optimus Prime that was definitely stylized, but looks amazing. There's a shattered glass drift that, again, is well known, I believe, among fans as being impeccable. And their Star Saber, which looks amazing for a non-transforming figure, looks amazing. I'm sure it also comes with an amazing price tag. Again, still on preview night, which I think is also very telling that all of this is stuff we saw on preview night. We had the Cyberverse line on hand and on display with their Ultimate Grimlock. I don't know what the articulation for that thing is like. It looks cool. It looks well painted. I have a feeling it's going to have very limited articulation, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's great. The Arc Optimus Prime, I'm going to tell you now, I've seen that thing in hand. I've had it in hand. Nope. Everybody has said the same thing. Well, if nothing else, I'll get it for the Arc. Okay. The Arc looks kind of cheap. The Optimus looks very cheap. I think it's highly limited articulation from the legs down. I'm not even 100% sure he actually has a knee. And in Canada, he retails for $70. I don't know what that is American. I want to say 55-ish. I don't know. Is getting a cheap-looking Arc worth $55? I don't know. Maybe it is. I saw it. My first instinct was, wow, the renders looked way better. This is really disappointing. I also saw, I'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, no, I'll talk about it now. You have Prime and the Sky Turbine. That looks cool. These are elite class figures, apparently. Megatron and the Chopper Cut, Bumblebee and the Ocean Storm, and Cheetor and the Sea Fury. I think the Cheetor looks the coolest. I like it. I feel like these elite size figures are going to be about the size of a deluxe class or a traditional warrior class. I think they're going to be like kind of average size. Then we also have the Ultra Prowl and Alpha Trion on display. The renders for both of those looked tremendous. And I remember saying a while ago that, you know what, I think there's hope for the Cyberverse line. The figures are garbage. Pure, hot garbage. Especially the Prowl. It looks awful. I thought it was a one-step changer. And then I realized, no, this is the Ultra Prowl. I'm like, this is inexcusable. This looks awful. Get the Warrior Prowl, because what they have for Ultra is not worth the plastic it's made of. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Then we have Warrior B and Jetfire on display with the whole spark armor thing. Here's the thing. I've seen B and I've seen Jetfire and Skybite and I don't even remember the other one that's in that line. I've seen them. They're cool. They're well articulated. They're nice, but they're also small. They're not your typical warrior size class. They're not a typical deluxe size class. They're not as small as a Legends class. They're sort of in between. I call them a Scout class, but they're sort of in between like a Power of the Primes Legend and say a Siege Deluxe. They're somewhere in between a Siege Deluxe and a Power of the Primes Legend. They sort of fit in there. Like I see them and I think, they're cute. They're cute. They're cute little figures. Well articulated, well made, but they're cute. And I guess the reason they're smaller is because part of the plastic allotment for them is for the spark armor that I don't think they ever needed. Just give us the good toys in a sensible size. Just saying. And then finally, on display, we had some GotBots, Wave 3, Series 3, whatever. They've been really hot. They're not for me, but people have been gobbling those guys up. And a few Rescue Bots things for the young'uns. Then we get into the actual new reveals, starting with the breakfast the next morning. And at the breakfast we had the Reflector Toy Accurate 3-pack. They're painted like the mail-away toy from years ago. But the thing is, you're guaranteed to get 3 reflectors all together. Or refractors, if you will. And I think that's fine if you're in for the toy accurate. They still have the animation accurate head sculpts, but the colors are toy accurate. And I think it's an exclusive for somewhere. I don't know where. We also saw on display Sound Blaster and Blue Streak, both of which are going to be part of the 35th anniversary figures, and they're both going to be exclusive to Walmart, as well as the cel-shaded Optimus Prime and the cel-shaded Megatron, which, like, the pictures look fantastic, but I feel like they took the picture and I was like, yeah, this looks great. So much love and detail with that paint. But then I think to myself, the paint isn't going to move. Like, the way that it's shaded is the way that it's shaded. Besides for this specific exact pose where they're taking the picture from, if you move this guy around and do other things, is the cel shading actually going to look any good? Because it's not going to move. It's not going to change as the light bounces off it or anything. I don't know. I think it looks cool, but I want to see it in the hand before I kind of say anything more about it. I don't know. They look nice, I guess. We also found out later in the day a whole bunch of kind of tidbits of things. We found out that the winner of the fan vote is going to be Run Amok. I assume we're going to get Runabout. If we don't, I'm going to have to just buy a second Run Amok and paint it to be Runabout. But that's instant get. We found out that the other fan vote with Autobot versus Decepticon was going to have a Clear Mirage and a Decepticon version of Impactor with a different, almost like Spartan-like head sculpt. And there's also going to be one of the Power Dashers, Aragon, put in that set. It's going to be a 3-bot set. That's an Amazon exclusive. The Phantom Strike thing, the Skywarp with his little Battle Master partners, that's an Amazon exclusive, even though there are people that already have him in hand. And we found out that the Alpha Strike Counterforce, which is made up of the G2 Sideswipe and Slam Dance, and I think a Battle Master, is also an Amazon exclusive. So all 3 of those sets are Amazon exclusive. They all have like something I'd like to have, but I don't want the whole thing. It's a smaller version of those huge sets from a couple of years ago in like the Titans Return line. This is like a smaller take of doing those. I don't know. A couple of them I'm in for, a couple of them not so much, or only part of it. Then we also found out that we're going to be getting, I don't know if we found this out, but it's come to my attention that we're getting the other 2 Power Dashers. One is called Chrome, and I can't remember what the other one's called, but I assume it's the Drill and the Plane. I assume that all 3 Power Dashers are going to be reuses of the Brund, 6-gun, and Cog molds. That makes sense. Maybe some slight remolding. We also found out about Greenlight. Like, she was officially revealed, even though like everybody has her now. Lancer, of course, was shown again. We found out about the Micromaster 10-pack. I think in the States that's a Target exclusive. And I believe in Canada that's going to be a Toys R Us exclusive. I think. That's kind of my understanding so far. I guess we'll have to find out as time goes on. We found out about the G1 reissue of Soundwave and his cassettes and got a good look at all of that. I like it, I suppose, if you're into it. There was also a 3-pack where we have Rumble or Frenzy, whatever the blue one is, and Noise, is it Noise? Noizu and Garafi. who go together to make Decibel, a couple of the, I guess, G1 Dino cassettes, I suppose. I don't know. I don't really know them. Pop Culture Shock was on hand with a gray version of their G1 Megatron statue. They've been doing well with those 10-inch statues. And that's it. Nothing really new for Studio Series. Outside of officially revealing some of the box set exclusives for Siege. Nothing new. Like, we still don't know. I guess we know beyond Wave 4. Wave 5, I guess we're up as far as Wave 5. Like, I feel like the wave that's going to have like Spinister and Snapdragon in it, for example, and Astro Train, I feel like we're going to get that late fall, like around Christmas-ish time, maybe the beginning of next year. And maybe they didn't show us a lot because maybe they're not ready to unveil what follows the Siege line yet, but maybe there's not a whole lot left to the actual Siege line outside of these exclusives. And the little bit that is left, they do want to save to have something to reveal, you know, at NYCC in October. We're probably going to see a lot more at Toy Fair in 2020. 2020, that's around the corner, man. I'm just saying that in terms of the reveals for SDCC, they put all of their eggs in the Unicron basket, and that Unicron is not for everyone. It's for some people, but it's not for everyone. They put all of their eggs in that basket to the detriment of every other line that really nothing was shown. Nothing that we didn't already know. The only thing that was made clearer to me is the availability of where you can get certain exclusives, and there's too many exclusives. It's too complicated. You got some that are online exclusive, some that are Walmart exclusive, some that are Target exclusive, some that are Amazon exclusive, and then like you have these little outlets that are getting them first and then releasing them later. A lot of people are still totally confused on exactly where to get these, and you gotta go all over the place for it. Like, dude, just release the figures at regular retail, just put them out, make them available for everyone to get. Don't make it that fans have to jump through hoops to get the figures that you guys want to sell. That makes no sense. I think that everything here was put on the back burner for the sake of trying to push out their hopeful Unicron. And because of that, I think the rest of the reveals for SDCC suffered overall. Like a couple of years ago, I felt like SDCC didn't really have much that caught my attention. Last year, it had a bundle of stuff that did. And this year, it's not that stuff didn't get my attention, but it's stuff that I'm looking at and saying, already had my attention. There's nothing new here to appeal to me. And because of that, I think that the kind of whole hype this year for SDCC is about a 2, a 3. I already knew about all this stuff. I'm happy about it. But I wish that we had seen something to really get me excited. Who am I kidding? I wanted to see a Scorponok announced. Right across the board, I feel like this has been a really mixed bag time at best. And the things that I was looking forward to before, things like TFCon and SDCC, are still the same things I'm looking forward to now. Nothing really new added to the list because there was nothing really announced to go added to the list. At least for me, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it and what you didn't previously know about. You know, I love to hear from you guys. Anyway, that being said, I appreciate you dropping by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there is a donations link down in the description. Please hit the subscribe button. It helps me out so very, very much. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams or right here inside the videos.